Hi everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Well, I'm up bright and early this Saturday. The weather is gorgeous, the birds are singing, and I'm gonna do just a little bit of garden therapy today. I've already got all my hardy annuals planted, and now I'm ready for just something that brings me a little bit of instant joy, shall we say. So last night I was over at a local nursery and they had buy one get one perennials. So I picked up a bunch of Gaura, and I actually think I'm gonna make some significant changes to my grandma's garden next year. And so this is gonna be kind of the first piece of the puzzle and kind of reorganizing how that garden looks. I can also catch you up on how the garden is looking back here. I think the last time we did a tour I was pretty much under the weather, and it's really grown a lot since then, I think. And check this out, it looks like we'll even have some cup and saucer vine flowers soon. So the Mexican bush sage has started to bloom. And you see the pathway gets smaller and smaller as the season goes on. And I did clear out some of the grass because right here is where I want to plant this Gaura. And I got 6 for less than $17. Doesn't that seem like a really great deal? I was really happy with my purchase. Let me show you what variety it is. Carolee Petite Pink, 14 to 20 inches tall, and it wants full to part sun. So I think it'll be really good here at the front of the border, nice and short. It will get part sun. So you might recall that my grandma's garden has always been a foliage garden. I have never really had any flowers over here. And I always put in some Dusty Miller, which looks a little strange now because I've been cutting on it so heavily. But in actuality, my grandma's real life garden, she was gardening on an acre, was jam-packed full of flowers. Always something in bloom, always magnificent flowers because of course she was doing shows all the time. So just loads of blooms everywhere you looked. And so I'm just thinking for this area, actually a complete redesign next year. I'll still keep the pathway to her chair, which you can't even see now. I need to clear it off. I'll get to that today too. And then I'm just gonna jam pack it full of flowers because that's really how her garden was. And I think I'm ready to transition this from a place of healing. I feel like I'm kind of turned a corner this year, I guess, in the healing process. And I feel like I've almost accepted her passing in a way. And so now I'm ready to just kind of rejoice in her life. So this area is going to get a whole new makeover, and this Gaura is the first step in the process. And I hope too that by adding in the Gaura here and more flowers, that it'll make the garden a little more seamless, because this is kind of the way I plant my entire garden. It's just in these big drifts of different flowers or foliage. And so I hope too it'll kind of just lend itself to the way I like to garden. It will be a nice mix of myself and her. Well, I just went in the garage and I realized that I don't have any mulch left to mulch this area when we're all done. So let's head down to a local nursery and pick up a bag quick, and then we'll get to work. Hey Grace, I'm heading out to the store, okay? I'll be right back. She's a good girl. Yeah, she's a good girl. So this is a nursery that I frequent quite often. They have wonderful annuals and perennials, all at prices you won't find anywhere else in the area. And you can see they're all decked out for fall at the moment with wonderful pumpkins, corn, hay barrels, corn stalks. Anything your heart could desire for fall decorating, they have it at a really wonderful price. So let's take a quick look around. So this is where I got my buy one get one perennials the other day. You can see I bought all the Gaura they had. If they had double the Gaura, I guess meaning 12 Gaura, I would have bought that. But I think 6 will do for the area. But just beautiful, beautiful plants for fall. Cabbages, ornamental peppers, and you know, I used to plant a lot of ornamental peppers over at my work garden. People seem to really enjoy seeing that. But I'll tell you what, when I saw that they had more Mexican bush sage in bloom, I snatched one up. And of course they even have gorgeous houseplants, and who can resist purchasing a few more houseplants, especially as we transition into fall and look more towards indoor gardening rather than outdoor gardening. Now there are some really fabulous gardeners out there who work with succulents all the time. I have to say, I love working with succulents, but is it just me, or is it quite expensive to work with succulents all the time? Nevertheless, this nursery has any and every succulent that your heart could desire. Well, I actually didn't have any mulch here at the nursery today, so I think I'll head over to Tractor and Supply. I did go ahead and purchase another Mexican bush sage. Not that I necessarily need another Mexican bush sage, but you know, when a plant calls, you have to answer with your wallet. Well guys, I can't believe it, but Tractor and Supply didn't have any mulch either. So tonight I'm going to be heading out to my parents, and they live next to Lowe's, so I guess I'll just pick some up then. So I won't worry about mulching in the video, so let's just go ahead and plant up this Gara and see how it looks in my grandma's garden. Also, check out this beautiful crepe myrtle in bloom right now. Isn't she phenomenal? So another reason why I thought Gara would be a great first choice for a perennial plant here in my grandmother's garden is because she used to always have a plant in her front entrance garden that she always referred to as butterfly weed. However, it wasn't really the butterfly weed that we know today. It wasn't that orange variety of milkweed. And I'm going to flash a picture of her garden up on the screen now because I'm really hoping someone can help me ID the botanical name of this particular flower. But basically, after her passing, this quote-unquote butterfly weed completely took over her garden. So what I'm looking for is a flower that reminds me of that butterfly weed, or what she would call butterfly weed, but that won't take over this garden area. So what I'm pruning now is goji berry. I got these goji berry plants on sale many years ago, and I have to tell you, they sucker like crazy. Anytime they touch the ground, they create a new plant. They're very aggressive, so if you're thinking of planting goji berry, just something to be aware of. They really will take over an area very quickly. Well guys, what do you think? Do you like the addition of the Gara? Do you like the idea of turning my grandma's garden from a foliage garden to a more floriferous garden, reminiscent of how my grandma's gardens were back 20 years ago? I do have this wonderful box of pictures of not only her gardens, but also a lot of floral designs she did, judging shows she did. There's even some booklets from like probably the 50s and 60s on how to grow things, like how to grow lilies, and you know, the pictures are just really fun to look at, and the way they used to do things back then, similar but also a little bit different to how we might do things now. But really, I think it's just going to be so fun this fall and primarily winter to just get out my sketchbook, just redesign the entire area and kind of use those pictures as a guide, saying, okay, at the entranceway to the front door, she always had this ginormous drift of dahlias accompanied by a ginormous drift of butterfly weed, and just maybe take some of those clues from the pictures and just implement them here in my grandma's garden. So guys, let me know what you think about that. But mainly I want to wish you a great day out there in your gardens, and I hope to see you back here in mine sometime soon. Bye!